inside.
Okay. When you first interacted with the defendant, how would you describe his demeanor that night?
Belligerent.
And why is that?
Yeah, he became argumentative almost instantaneously.
Okay.
Asking what the PC was and why I stopped him.
And what did you notice about the defendant when you spoke with him?
He had the smell of alcoholic beverage from his breath in person.
Okay. Was there anything else?
Rare water units.
And how did the defendant react when you asked him to step out?
He was asking for probable cause and reasonable suspicion and for a reason to stop.
Did you advise him why you stopped him?
I think after a few times, I did tell him exactly why. I said, felon maintained single lane, and because we didn't stop, because it took him so long to stop.
Now, I'm going to switch over to your body cam at this point. Officers, give me a moment while I change up CDs. When you're on patrol, how many times are you pulling someone over at night?
Not often, but sometimes.
Okay. And when you do that, sorry.
I said not every time, but it does happen.
Okay. And when you do pull someone over at night, what do you typically ask them to get out of the car?
No, not typically.
Okay. And so what about this defendant's vehicle made you want him to step out of the car right away?
Well, it was lifted.
Okay.
And then for sure, because of how long it took him to stop.
Okay. Let's see if we can do that. Your Honor, may I publish some state's exhibit?
Yes.
Well, in some state exhibit 2, this is your body camera. We're going to jump to where we just cut from the dash cam right here. Should be right about the 2-minute mark on exhibit 2. Okay, so now that you've spoken to the defendant and you're walking us through what you're observing, what observations did you have at that time?
Oh, sorry, can you ask the question?
Now that you've spoken with the defendant, what observations did you have?
Yeah, the rare water eyes and the smell of alcoholic beverage from this fucking person.
Playing for minute 2 on exhibit 2.
I'm telling you, Steve. Pennsylvania v. Mims, I'm allowed to get out. The Pennsylvania v. Mims, it's the case law that says I'm allowed to actually get out. So get out. I'm not arresting you, am I? I'm not. I'm asking you to get out. Okay, step out the car. Yes, I do. I'll report that to you. We don't play court in the street. Yeah, we play court. We don't play court in the street. Okay, you can either get out the car or I'm going to force you to get out the car. Get out of the car or I'm going to force you to get out the car. Because you took a long time to stop. Why took you so long to stop? Step out the car. Why are you taking? Okay, this is your last chance. You can get out the car or I can force you out the car. Why are you Pennsylvania?
Stopping at 305. And the other times that you have asked people to step out of the car, how often do they comply?
Objection relevance.
Yeah, we're asking you about the defendant stepping out of the car here based on his training experience and asking what happens on a normal DWI investigation.
Sustained. Just let's talk about this one.
How many times at this point do you think you've asked the defendant to step out?
I haven't counted, but at least
Objection speculation.
Would you say it's more or less than 2?
more than 2.
Thank you. Resuming from 305.
Hey, V. Mims, I'm allowed to go ahead. Okay, because you're swerving all over the street. So you can step out. You were swerving in the street. It's on body camera. Step out of the car. Step out of the car. Step out of the car. Well, how else are you gonna get out? If I'm moving, right? Step out of the car. Step out of the car. Because I already told you.
Why?
You're swerving all over the road. Okay, you move or I'm gonna force you out the car. Okay, I already told you, you're swerving in between lanes. Get out of the car. Okay, get out of the car. Don't make me force you out the car. Get out of the car. I'm not retaining. Get out of the car. Now you are gonna be detained. If you're swerving all over the road, then you should go on stop. Failure to maintain single lane. Why do you continue? Why do you continue? Fail to maintain single lane.
Stopping at 4 minutes and 2 seconds. Based on your training and experience, why is him not stepping out a concern?
Because there could be weapons in the car, and he could take off.
Okay. And we heard you cite a case law in there. What was that?
Pennsylvania v. Mims.
And what is that?
It says that officers are allowed to ask motorists to step out of their vehicle for officer safety.
Have you ever done that based on your training experience in other investigations?
I have.
Now, at this point, you're taking him out of the vehicle. What do you do next?
I put him in handcuffs
Why?
because he's already uncompliant.
Okay. And based on the signs that you've already told us about, what was your next step in the investigation?
Well, right now at this point, I was placing him under arrest for failure to maintain single lane.
Okay. Is that an arrestable offense?
Yes.
So after he steps out and after you have him in handcuffs, what do you do next?
I radio dispatch and have them send a DWI officer because I also observed the rare watery eyes and the smell of alcoholic beverages.
Okay. Playing from 4 minutes and 2 seconds.
I was told you, stay right here. Fail to maintain single lane. Well, can I get a 460?
Now, stopping at 411, what was that radio?
I said 12, which is our radio numbers are based off seniority. So
Okay.
there's 31, 32, 33. 31 is days, 32 is evenings, 33 is nights. I don't usually say 33 because we're already on night shift, and 12 is who I am. I'm actually I'm on 9 this year. But instead of saying 33, 12, I just say 12. They know it means me, and then I say, can I get a 460 unit? A 460 unit is a DWI officer.
And after you radioed that, what was the response that you received?
They said negative transport.
What does negative transport mean?
There's not one available to come to the scene. Have transported to the DWI investigation room that we had.
Okay. And based on your time at Pasadena Police Department, is that typical?
It's more or less. It does happen occasionally.
And at this point, why did you call that in?
Because it's just easier for the DWI officer to arrive to the scene to do the DWI investigation on scene.
Okay. Now, resuming from 411.
Go back to my car.
And so that call out to you, what was that saying?
You'd have to go back so I can tell you.
Uh,
That might have been someone else being dispatched to a different call.
Yes, sir. I'll give me 1 second to offer it. So after you radioed out, they responded to you.
Correct.
And what was that response to you?
Again, it was just to transport them to we call it room 2.
What's room 2?
Room 2 is where we investigate the DWIs. The DWIs.
What is DV what you would call it?
DWI is it's like if you sound out DWI, it's DWI, so we call it DWI.
Okay. So did you try to have a DWI investigation done on scene?
I did.
Okay. And what did you do instead?
I transported them to the room 2.
Why didn't you conduct one yourself?
Because we have designated DWI officers. It takes several hours to do a DWI investigation. And so to, maximize the manpower, we have DWI officers. That way I can just give it to him and I can go back out on the street and major call drops.
Okay. And so at this point now you're putting him in the back of your patrol car. Where did you take him?
Room 2.
Okay. And then where is that at?
That's located at the Pasadena jail.
And at this point, what did you believe was the appropriate next step for the investigation?
Well, we have to tow the car.
Um, So the defendant's going to the station, and he's in your patrol
I'm
vehicle.
sorry, say it again.
The defendant's going to the station, and he's in your patrol vehicle. Was there anything about the defendant's behavior at this point that stood out to you?
Yeah, he was still very belligerent.
Okay, and would that be an indication of anything for your investigation?
I mean, working nights, we deal with a lot of intoxicated people and they're very belligerent. Yes.
Now, so I'm going to go back to State's Exhibit 1, your dash cam here. So, was the defendant talkative in the patrol car?
Very.
And after you placed him in the back seat, what did you do next?
Transported into the jail.
Okay. Was there anyone helping you on scene with the truck?
Yeah, so my backup officer arrived, took custody of the truck. So, we can't just leave it there unattended. So until the record driver comes, she stays with the truck.
Okay.
Gives it to the record takes the truck.
Okay. So, in place State's Exhibit 1, commit spotted. From 454, close. And so right away, who is this on camera?
It looks like Officer Formosa.
Okay. And what's she doing?
We have to do an inventory of the vehicle prior to it being towed.
Was she with you on scene when you're getting out of the car?
I don't believe so, not initially.
What gave you call the first week? What gave you call the first week? What gave you call the first week? Yeah, what gave you call the first week? What gave you call the first week? Fucking pussy, bitch.
Stop
What gave you
at
call the first week?
540. Did you go back to help her with the inventory of the car?
I believe so.
And playing at 540. Did you find anything in the car?
I did not.
Then this is you
Yeah,
going
you
back
got
to
no
search.
cost search me. That's why
It's
it's
a-
fucking. Got no cost search, nothing. No problem cost search, nobody. Yeah, pussy ass fucking custody of the cop. That's what y'all like to do. Like a bunch of pussy. Like to do that. Like a bunch of pussies, y'all like to do that. Search people shit. Thank you, y'all fucking right. Fucking pussy ass bitch.
Stopping at 6 minutes and 26 seconds. On the way to the station, did the defendant say anything that made you think he was intoxicated?
I don't recall.
Was there anything standing out to you about how he was speaking?
I don't believe so.
Now, playing from minute 8. Or 7:58, apologies.
Hey, tonight I'm going to yeah, fuck you, boy. Pussy, you boy. You fuck. I make money too. I make money. You better make sure you fucking BA you got everything you need. Fuck. Yeah, you got shit on you. What? Let's get paid tonight. Y'all still here. Fuck, take me in. Fuck you gonna do? Fuck you gonna do? Fuck yeah, you can just fucking be on me. Fuck yeah.
Stopping at 8:42. Officer, what's a PI?
Public intoxication.
Did that influence your investigation in any way?
Well, no, because you can't PI someone after driving a vehicle. PI is like when someone's a danger to themselves or others and they're intoxicated in a public place, but under this circumstance, he's driving a vehicle, so it'd be a DWI.
Okay. And so the defendant, what about the defendant saying public intoxication stood out to you, if anything?
You mean nothing?
At this point, what were you doing? What was your next step in your investigation?
Just getting them down to room 2 so that Officer Rohr could do the DWI investigation.
Okay. And did Officer Rohr meet you at the station?
He was in room 2, correct.
Officer, based on your training and your experience as an officer with a number of investigations and everything you saw that night, did you reach a conclusion about the defendant?
In what regards?
About the defendant's state that night?
I mean, I was just arresting them for failed to maintain single lane.
Okay. And then your next step was to take him for investigation about what?
For DWI, so that Officer Rohr could be the one to determine if he was intoxicated or not.
Thank you. That's what it's trying.
Okay. Floor is yours.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so let's take a couple steps back. You said you're not a part of the DWI unit, right?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and the only formal training you had for DWI would have been in the police academy, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And when did you go to the police academy?
January 14th of 2019 to August 9th of 2019.
So other than that, no other trainings or anything like that?
No other trainings other than what we experienced on the street.
Okay, and with the DWI unit, they receive more trainings, right?
Correct.
Okay, and that's because they need to be in a better position to assess whether or not someone's intoxicated.
Correct.
And I heard you earlier say that sometimes you observe things and to CYA, you send it to the DWI task force. Is that accurate?
Correct.
What does CYA mean?
Cover your ass.
So that, would you agree with me that that means that sometimes you would send things to the DWI unit not knowing or having opinion whether or not they are intoxicated?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Sure, my apologies. So you would agree with me, that would mean that sometimes you send cases to the DWI unit not knowing one way or the other whether they're intoxicated.
Correct. And we release them when they're not.
Okay, and when you send them, and you mentioned earlier that it's not illegal to fail to maintain a single lane by itself, right?
Well, according to transportation code, it is, but it needs to be stronger in certain circumstances for it to be considered in a DWI case.
Well, outside of DWI, when we're talking about a traffic violation for failing to maintain a single lane, right?
As written in the transportation code, it's illegal, yes.
Sure, and courts want you to find that something stronger, right? And what is that something stronger?
It could be anything.
Well, earlier you mentioned that it's posing a safety risk to somebody, right?
Correct.
And not a hypothetical risk, right?
It's an articulable one, yes.
Okay, so one, okay. Yes. Yes. Thanks. And also, just to clarify, when you're saying someone's failing to maintain a single lane, you're looking for them actually departing from their lane, right?
Correct.
Is that a full departure?
I mean, it could be full departure or not staying within the lane.
So how do you determine that?
It just depends on how many times a driver does it.
Well, I'm not talking about how many times, I'm just saying for you to determine that it's even happened one time. What is a departure under the
I
law?
mean, every situation is under the law. It just says a person maintains the maintain a single lane.
Sure, and I just want to help the jury explain what it means to fail to maintain a single lane. And every situation could be different, but in this situation, to you, since you've articulated that, what does it mean to fail to maintain a single lane?
In this case, I articulated it because he did it more than one time on both sides. It wasn't like, I'm reaching for, like I've had cases where I'm reaching for a drink, or I'm looking at my phone and I just wasn't paying attention for a second or two. I got behind his vehicle and I followed it for several seconds before I activated my camera. And I articulated because he was doing it on both sides.
Sure, what was he doing? That's what I'm asking.
Failing to maintain single lane.
Okay,
He crossed it and he was bumping them.
he completely left the lane?
I believe so. My camera only goes back 30 seconds, but I followed him for several.
Do you recall him completely leaving the lane?
I can't recall that right now, but I
Okay,
believe he
understood.
did.
That's fair. And when you say he's bumping in between lanes, is that illegal?
If his tire is crossing the line, I would say it's failed to maintain the lane.
But you described it as bumping in between his lane.
Well, yeah, bumping, but you're not just touching the exterior of the lane, you're crossing it, you're going into the next lane over.
Yes, if it's not amazing. For the record, we're in State's Exhibit 1. We're going to around 8 seconds. Okay, you can pause. Okay, I want you to stop me when he fully exits his lane, okay?
It looks like he's across the lane right here.
Which lane? We have a left and right
The
lane.
center turn lane.
You would agree with me there's a light right there, right?
That's on the right side of the vehicle. Center turn lane.
Okay,
on the
start. Where's the
Right here, I would say he's bumping, but when you first started the video, I would say he's over the lane there and inside the center turn lane.
Okay, so that was one.
Here it is again.
Are there any cars around him at this time?
There's one, if you go back in the video, you'll see there's actually a car in front
Okay,
of
can we go
us.
back in the video then?
And there was just some cars that crossed us driving the opposite direction as
Let's
well.
get back there. Okay, can we pause? How many cars do you see on the road right now?
I believe there's 2 cars coming towards us and there's 2 cars going with us right here. There's 1 car in the center lane up further ahead, and then there's one in the far right lane.
And you would agree with me that the one that's closest to him is the one that's in the far right lane.
Correct.
And there's at least a whole lane of space in between him and that car, right?
Correct. The Spencer
Okay.
Highway's one of the longest roads in Pasadena.
Okay,
You're just gonna drive by multiple
sure.
cars.
Just for the purposes of this bill. Right.
For the purposes of this, still correct.
Okay. And on the other side, there are cars traveling this way, right?
Correct.
Okay, and is there something separating?
There's no center median.
Is there space separating
There's a center turn lane.
in between him and the other cars, right?
Correct.
Okay,
At the purpose of this still, yes.
sure. So the purposes of this bill is what danger is he posing to any of those cars around him?
In this specific still shot,
Mhm.
in this specific still shot, he's going into the left lane where there's cars approaching.
Is he almost hitting the cars?
Well, there's a center turn lane, but
So
there's no way to know if someone's gonna go into the center turn lane to turn into that McDonald's right there we happen to pass by. My job is to prevent the endangering of public, so he might not crash now, but he could easily crash on this main 7-lane highway in Spencer.
Did he crash?
He did not crash.
Okay, and so it sounds like there's a hypothetical risk then.
There's a lot of crashes on Spencer Highway.
That's true. And when we talk about when somebody is guilty of failing to maintain a single lane, we're looking for the failing to maintain a single lane, so the departure, right? Plus a danger to the cars around, right?
Well, I don't deter me guilt.
Sure, I'm not asking you to.
Mm-hmm. You just said something about guilt.
No, and if I did, that's a misspeaking. What I'm asking you is what you do determine whether or not you're gonna stop somebody, right?
Correct.
Okay, so you have to have at minimum, basic understanding of the law to do that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And so we've already agreed that the law says for a failure to maintain a single lane, we need some sort of departure, right?
Well, I haven't read the transportation code, but I haven't read it right now, but if he fails to leave his lane, I would say yes.
Okay, plus, and I don't need you to read the code, we already agreed on this earlier, right? Plus a danger to another car, right? And not a hypothetical danger.
Well, the danger to another car isn't written in transportation code.
But that's what we've established that courts want, right? So it's not just a technical violation.
Well, I mean, it depends on which court, but yes.
Okay. We're agreeing right here, fair?
Sure.
Okay. And so we've also agreed that it cannot be a hypothetical danger. Right? So not he could have crashed it, and not Spencer Road is a long road and they have many crashes, right?
Can you re-ask the question?
When we agreed about the danger, we agreed that it is not a hypothetical danger, so it can't be, well, he departed and he could have hit somebody, right? It's whether, right?
Well, if it did hit somebody, that would be a crash, so
Okay, fair. And no crash happened here.
no crash happened here.
Okay, and at all times, for all intents and purposes, there's a lane separating from all cars, right?
I'm sorry, say the last one again.
Sure. And while you're observing him, you're following him, for all intents and purposes, there are lanes that separate his vehicle from other vehicles, right? We talked about this.
On this still shot, yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's switch to things exhibit 2. Sorry.
Yeah.
When you finally get him pulled over, right, you make contact with him.
Same.
And it's your testimony that he was immediately belligerent, right?
I walked up to the car and I said, step out the car, you became belligerent.
Yes or no, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay, what does belligerent mean?
Uncompliant, yelling, argumentative.
So immediately when you asked him to get out of the car, he was yelling at you?
Well, I wouldn't say yelling. You asked me the definition of belligerent and I
Sure,
said,
and because you called him belligerent immediately. So I'm just trying to get a good idea, and
well, he became argumentative. And
so maybe not belligerent,
and uncompliant.
but not belligerent.
Well, I would say with a combo of the two, I would say belligerent.
And so your definition is that belligerence includes yelling, right?
Well, I mean, it's case by case, so yes.
Okay, and so in this case, was he yelling at you?
I wouldn't say in this case he was yelling at me.
Okay. And what does it mean to be argumentative?
When you argue, I mean, I don't,
I know, that's a weird question, but we need the jury to understand when you're making these assessments of people, how you're coming to those conclusions.
if I say, hey, step out the car and you're saying no, and I'm giving you multiple chances to step out and you just keep arguing with me back and forth, telling me, trying to play court in the street, I would say that's argumentative.
Okay, fair. When you asked me to get out, did he tell you no?
He refused.
Did he tell you no?
He implied no by
Okay, so he
refusing.
never told you no to your request to get out.
Not literally saying the word no.
Okay.
He did
What
not.
did he ask you
He said,
instead?
why did you pull me over? And what's the reasonable suspicion? What's the probable cause?
And before we ask that, you talk about playing court in the streets. What does that mean, playing court in the streets?
That means we're not gonna play court in the street. We're not gonna, I'll tell you why I pulled you over, which eventually I told him, but we're not gonna go back and forth on. If I've already explained to you, you know, I'm not there, like I said, I'm not there to prove guilt in the street.
So and you cited a court case to him, right?
Pennsylvania v. Mims is case law.
So you were playing court in the streets.
Well, he asked me, why do I need to get out? And I said, Pennsylvania v. Mims.
So what was the function of you telling him that case if you didn't want to play court in the streets?
To know that it was a lawful order to get out of the vehicle.
Okay. And did those-
Yes, it's a.
and do you usually, when you pull someone over, tell them why you're pulling them over?
I sometimes do, most of the time, yes.
And does that help smooth things over with the traffic stop?
It does.
Help make people feel more comfortable
It
with what's
does.
going on?
Yes, it does.
Okay. And you also stated, you also stated that Pennsylvania v. Mims allows you to pull someone out for officer safety, right?
Correct.
What about his vehicle made you feel unsafe at
Well-
that time, or him?
The vehicle, it's hard, like I said earlier, it's hard to look inside. He had already continued driving for
Mhm.
approximately 0.6 miles. And like I said, he could be reaching for something. He could be not looking at the road to, look inside his glove box or center console, or he could be reaching over. And, it's harder to stay straight when you're reaching over.
Sure.
Could be a number of things.
Did you see him doing any of that?
His windows are tinted too, and as I said earlier, it's hard to see already at night.
Sure. But did you see him doing any of that?
No,
Okay, so there's nothing you can articulate here that would have made you fear for your safety as an officer
well,
from his behavior
from the argumentative,
before you pulled him over.
from before I pulled him over, it was taking a long time to stop, because it's very unusual. It's not normal for that to happen.
Okay, and when you pull someone over, do you think it's normal for people to feel nervous?
I would say, I get nervous when I get pulled over.
And you're an officer, right?
Correct.
And so could that have contributed to why it took him so long to pull over?
He
Him
was-
trying to find a safe spot?
In my opinion, he was more upset than he was nervous.
How would you have known that before you pulled him over? I'm sorry, I know we're
Before-
jumping around a lot. Let me, okay. We're back before you met him, right?
Mhm.
You're saying you observed him to take a long time to pull over, right?
Correct.
So all I'm asking is, could his nervousness, could he be nervous, right?
Correct.
And could that have contributed to why it took him so long to pull over?
I don't believe so. Because if the average person gets nervous on a traffic stop and the average person still pulls over immediately, this vehicle did not.
What's the statistic on that?
There is no statistic. I'm
So where are you getting that from?
from all the traffic stops I've done, I would say majority, I can't pull a percent because I don't know, but majority of them pull over immediately.
And what's
so-
immediately?
As soon as I turn my lights off, they either slow down, start moving over, put a blinker on to move over, and I'm like, okay, and they're gonna pull over right here.
Did he use blinkers?
Use the blinker to turn left.
Okay. And did you suspect him of trying to evade or elude you?
I would say eluding, as I said earlier. It was not evading, but it was more of an eluding.
People who elude you usually use blinkers to do so?
Objection.
They do.
Speculation.
Sustain.
Did he speed up when you got behind him and let him out?
Just, if he sped up, I would say that would be more evading. In this case, like I said, he wasn't evading. He just wasn't stopping. It'd be more of an eluding or just not stopping.
Did you charge him with eluding or just not stopping?
Me, I only charge him with fail to maintain single lane.
Do you have any personal knowledge of him being charged with that at all?
With eluding or
Or-
evading?
Yes.
I don't believe so. No.
Okay. Okay, and so you also indicated, other than the belligerent but not belligerent activity, that you observed red glassy eyes, is that correct?
Correct.
What time was it when you pulled him over? About?
I can't recall.
Okay.
I think the report says 2:00.
And that's fair, I think we can agree on that, and that's in the morning, right?
2 a.m. Yes.
Okay, that's pretty late, right?
Yes.
And could his red eyes have come from him being tired?
Objection. Speculation.
I mean, he did investigate, overrule. You can answer the question.
Red glassy eyes is a sign of intoxication.
Sure, but also part of your job is to distinguish between signs of intoxication and signs that have other explanations. Would you agree with me when I say that?
Well, so from what I know from my experiences, the DWI officer, when he does his investigation, and I'm sure he'll come and testify to that later, he will ask him when the last time you see, and the only reason I know this is because I translate for a lot of DWI investigations, because I'm a Spanish speaker and most of them don't, so.
Okay,
They
and I
asked
would
him-
object to his answer as non-responsive. My question is whether or not you would agree with me that you have to distinguish between a DWI sign and something that can be explained by something else.
Yes,
Okay, so everything you observe can't just be, oh, check the box and it's a sign of intoxication. You would agree with me, right?
correct, yes.
Okay, and so red glassy eyes, while it is a sign of intoxication in some cases, it could also be explained by other things. You would agree with me?
Correct. We
Okay,
look for multiple signs, yes.
sure, and when you notice those signs, it's your job, or it would be pertinent on you to exclude other reasons for those signs, right?
Can you say that again?
Sure, that was kind of funky. When you notice those signs, a good investigator would try to rule out other explanations for the presence of those signs. Would you agree with me?
Correct.
So with Red, did you do that in this case?
I didn't charge him with DWI.
Sure, but you referred him to DWI units, so you clearly thought there was enough, right?
I'm not the one to determine if he's intoxicated.
And you're the one who determined that he had to get
I
investigated.
determined that he had been drinking, not that he was intoxicated.
Okay, so how did you determine he had been drinking?
His red watery eyes and the smell of alcoholic breath on his breath insurance.
Do those things by itself mean someone has been drinking?
It's possible.
But does it mean that?
It's possible.
Are there other explanations for both of those things?
Not the smell of alcoholic breath in person.
So someone can't spill alcohol on you? And you smell like alcohol?
I mean, I guess, yeah. Could
Okay, so
happen.
that's another explanation, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and also, is it illegal to have a drink and then drive?
To drink and then drive?
Mhm.
No, you have to be over .08.
Okay, sure. So what about Alejandro at that point made you believe that he was intoxicated?
Well, like I said, I didn't charge him with that. I charged him for failure to maintain single lane.
Well,
I'm not there to determine if he's intoxicated. That's what the DUI officer is for. That's why I don't charge people with DWI. I have never filed a DWI charge in my career.
so does every person that you stop who admits to having, or who you determine has alcohol in their system, do they get referred to DWI unit?
So typically,
Yeah, yes or no?
I mean, it's case by case. I have pulled people out, I have suspected of drinking, and then let them go.
Okay.
It's just case by case per traffic stop.
So with red glassy eyes, you didn't ask him if he was fatigued or tired.
This is where things get really interesting. The officer labels the driver belligerent almost immediately. But notice what the driver is actually doing. He's asking for probable cause and reasonable suspicion. Those are legal rights, not crimes. So here's the big question for you. Is asserting your rights being argumentative, or is it exactly what the law allows? Let me know in the comments.
Right?
He didn't give me the opportunity
And
to.
I'm just asking about what you did. Did you even ask him?
I planned on it.
Did you ask him?
I did not ask him.
Okay. Did you ask him if he wore contacts and maybe that could have contributed to the red glassy eyes, the irritation?
I did not.
Did you ask him if he had allergies?
I did not.
Okay. And you also mentioned that when you happen upon people who you suspect of DWI, you ask them where they're coming from, right?
Typically, I ask them to step out the car and I check their eyes for HGM.
Did you check his eyes for HGN?
He did not give me the opportunity to.
Did you check his eyes for HGN?
I did not.
Okay. And HGN would have at minimum confirmed your suspicion that he had alcohol in his system, right?
Correct.
So when you sent him to Pasadena jail to be investigated for DWI, you didn't even know whether or not he had took alcohol, did you?
That's why I arrested him for failure to maintain single lane.
Killing two birds with one stone, huh?
It's PC.
Okay. Pass the witness, Judge.
Okay, anything further?
Yes, Judge, a brief for your record.
Brief.
Yes, sir. So, officer, let's go back to failing to maintain single lane real quick. Is it a traffic violation to drive on the left side of the road?
I'm sorry, repeat the question.
Is it against the traffic code to drive on the left side of the road
On the left side of the road, yes.
across the yellow lines?
Across the yellow line, yes.
Okay. And was the defendant in this case driving over that yellow line?
Yes.
Now, why is driving over that yellow line a concern for you when you see his vehicle?
Well, there's cars approaching us.
Is it your job to wait for a crash?
It is not my job to wait for crash. No, it's not.
When you send cases to the DWI unit, what do you mean when you send them to the DWI unit because you don't know he's intoxicated?
Ask it one more time.
Can you just explain what you meant by referring someone to the DWI unit when you don't know if they're intoxicated?
Correct. Yeah, like I said, I know what signs of intoxication are. It's not my job to determine if they're intoxicated. That's why we have a DWI officer.
And based on your training and experience and the totality of everything you saw, why did you take him to the station for Officer Moore to do the DWI investigation?
Because I believed he had been drinking. And if he's not intoxicated, then we won't charge him with DWI.
And all those questions about contacts and being tired, are those something that you asked or DWI officer asked?
The DWI